Hello, cows and ghouls. More Weasel. Ghosts, apparitions, spirits, demons, poltergeists, werewolves, vampires, Slender Man, the Rake, and every mythological devil, I guess, in between. These are three ghost stories, true, that really happened to me. I'll start with the first one when I was my youngest. I was 8 years old at the time, around the same time Anaconda came out, I believe. Now, we lived in a town a couple hours away from where I live now. Lived in a trailer. Nice, quaint little trailer. However, there was one room in the trailer that, as a kid, I refused to go in. Something about it just was off-putting to me. It wasn't welcoming. It was quite foreboding. So I avoided that room for the most part. I would go in there on occasion to get my toys, and because we use it mostly for storage. We had, just boxes and stuff. And the way the room was set up, it was just one big empty room with boxes, with a door and a window adjacent to it. I always felt like something was staring at me through that window, so I always felt like something malevolent was in that room, and so I avoided it at all costs. Just like a golden rule. I was a pretty brave kid, but even I knew something wasn't right. My suspicions were really put to the test one night whenever it was me and my father at the house. Just me and my father. My mother and my little brother were gone to her mom's house, my grandmother's house. And we were sleeping, me and my dad, and we both woke up to a loud clang, bang sound from the kitchen. Now, my dad, he is around 5'4", 5'3". He's not a very big guy, but he is a buff guy. He is trained in martial arts, and he back then he was so inebriated most of the time that fear didn't even register in his mind. We both went to the kitchen, and we found pots and pans all over the floor. All the cabinets were open. My dad, thinking somebody broke into the house, checked all the doors. They were all locked by deadbolt and chain. All the windows were locked. There was nothing, no way anybody could have got in and out in that time span. From when we heard the noise and got to the kitchen, there's no way. My gut instinct told me it was that thing in that room. We always had some weird stuff going on, weird noises. Cabinets would be open. There would be boxes knocked over and things would not be where they were. But those were just small things. They didn't really bother me too much. I mean, I grew up on horror movies, so at this point I'm thinking, it's just probably a ghosty having fun. Well, that suspicion was put to the test one fateful night. I was laying in bed watching Anaconda, which is why I referenced it earlier. The sleeping arrangement was me, my parents, and my little brother. We all slept in the same room. My little brother slept in between my mother and father in a queen size bed. Squirrels. I slept on a single mattress on the floor, facing the TV. And I remember I was watching Anaconda. I had just watched that dude get eaten from the waterfall, whatever. And I had this sudden urge that somebody was watching me all of a sudden, just out of nowhere. I always had a weird sixth sense for these type of things. And I just had this odd feeling I was being watched. I slowly, ever, I'll never forget how slowly I turned my head this day. Squirrels, man. But I turned my head slowly, and I nearly felt my heart jump clean out of my throat as I saw a shadow of a very tall man standing in the doorway. I knew he locked eyes with me when I locked eyes with him. Though I could not see his eyes, I knew we were staring at each other. Being the child I was, I hid under my blanket. I saw the shadow through the light of the TV approaching my blanket. I saw a hand extend and grab me right on my leg. The moment it did that, I lost all bodily functions. I could not scream. I could not talk. I could not move. I could not even whimper. God knows I wanted to. I was trying so hard to yell or scream or something to wake up my parents or my little brother at the very least. Nothing. I couldn't get anything out. My voice was like it was stolen while he had a grip on me. And that's all he did was hold that grip on me. And I remember I closed my eyes and I prayed, God, don't let this thing take me to the abyss in which it came from. Not exactly those words, mind you. I'm a little more sophisticated now than I was as a kid, obviously. And I remember I felt a sudden just release of pressure on my leg. I opened my eyes slowly and didn't see the shadow through my blanket anymore. So I got brave enough to, take down my blanket and look around. Nothing was there. Nothing at all. Just me and my parents and my little brother. I got out of bed and went to explore the house and see if maybe a door was unlocked or something like that. Maybe somebody broke in. I would honestly take somebody breaking in over a dark entity. Because at least if somebody's breaking in, you can physically harm that individual. But with an entity, you can't harm them. There was nothing. Everything was locked. Everything. After that day, all I ever felt was its eyes watching me everywhere I go. I tried to tell my parents about it, but they just wrote it off as my imagination or a dream, combined with sleep paralysis. But I know what I felt. I know what I saw. The men in the shadow do exist. Just remember that. The second story was when I was, I want to say, 17. I used to walk out to my girlfriend's house to visit her. And the road I walked down was renowned for car accidents, hauntings, and weird phenomena. Like, it was very much renowned. And I was walking back from my girlfriend's house around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. maybe. And I made it's about a 4-mile walk up that road. Not including getting back to my house, which is an extra 2 miles. So I was probably like about 2 miles down my walk, when off in the distance I can see something white on the side of the road. It looked like a child, and my only thought was, oh my God, a poor child. I walked up closer, and I saw what looked to be an 8-year-old, maybe 9-year-old girl in a gown, just staring at her bare feet, which looked like she had been walking through sharp rocks. I walked up on her. I wasn't thinking that this was anything paranormal. I was thinking, oh God, it's a child. Somebody has left their child on the side of the road. So I walk up to her and I ask her if she's alright. Is everything okay? Hey, what's your name? There was not a response. I thought maybe she was traumatized by something. Maybe she had just been raped and dumped off right there. So I put my hand on her shoulder. I said, "It's gonna be okay." The moment I put my hand on her shoulder, I regretted that instantly. Instantly. As a sharp, cold pain shot through my entire body, and I pulled my hand back so quickly. It, it looked over to me. It had no eyes. It had no eyes. Needless to say, I ran. I ran as fast as I fucking could. I ran for 2 miles straight, never looking back. I made it to the end of the road, 2 miles, mind you. And I was about to turn, make a right, and go walking back towards my house. Suddenly, cold breeze hit me. Just, I look behind me, and she's standing there, staring at me. I'm petrified. I'm staring her down, she's staring me down. She opened her mouth, and blood just came spewing out, along with this demonic, blood-gurgling sound. I closed my eyes, then turned around and prayed that this thing wasn't going to get me from behind. I suddenly felt the atmosphere shift. It felt normal again. I looked behind me, there was nobody there at all. But there was a piece of a white dress stuck in the fence. Needless to say, I never walked that road late at night again. Never. Third one I'll keep short. I used to live in this house next to a haunted house. This house had been abandoned for some years. The original owners just up and left without warning. Nobody knew why. I do. Now, I went in there one night, just myself, to explore. I was a ghost hunter. I like to think of myself as a ghost hunter. And, I went in there, and everything just seemed off. The atmosphere itself seemed off-putting, negative, malevolent. Every corner I felt something. Every room, I felt something. I took pictures. Through one of these pictures, I caught the face of a demon, or something, peering its face through a wall, really close to where I was. I was walking back to the living room area, and I noticed that there was a child at the doorway of the garage, and I could see her mouth the word, "Run, now." So every bit of my instincts kicked in, and I flew out that door. The moment I flew out that door, something fucking hit. I don't know what. I left out, and I did not come back to that house till the morning when it was daytime. I walked in there, and the couch that was left behind had been flipped clear across the room. And on the ground, there was a word. I don't remember what the word was. I just know whatever it was enough for me to leave that and never walk into that house again. Just remember, people, just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So always be precautious where you go. And if something doesn't feel right, go with your instincts. They know things. They know it before you do. Sorry I couldn't make this longer, but I have a busy day. Sorry I couldn't make it more descriptive, but I have a lot to go. I have a lot to do today. So this is Murky Weasel signing out. Thank you for listening.